Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here today. We are going to do a 2-page scrapbook layout using 6x6 paper. And I've never done this before, so it will be an adventure. I love to take pictures of nature around me, and this is my crabapple tree and apple tree. And I'm very excited that I have these pictures. I like to document them. For my Stampin' Up! Stash, I have some wood grain paper. And then I also, from another paper pack, which I'll show you in a minute, have cut 2-inch strips out of the 6x6 paper that I'm going to use on the layout. And I have no clue how I'm going to use these, so we will just see as we go. And I don't even know which ones I want to use. But they all came from the same paper pack, and I thought that it would be fun to see what I could create with these items. So I'm going to put this to the side, and then I am going to start on the first page of the layout. I chose the wood grain because 1, it's neutral, but 2, trees are made of wood, or we make wood out of trees, and my husband had to cut the middle of this crab apple tree out, which used to be absolutely beautiful because it was dying, and I think he is going to die eventually, so it'll be nice to just have him documented in my scrapbook. So I am going to put these, I believe, in the middle of the page, so they won't even have to be cut, and I will just have that as a border. I've also matted my pictures in white so they will pop off the page with the 6x6 paper. But I'm just going to kind of plan this out, and I think I like this look for the placement of my pictures. Now that I have page 1 done, let's start on page 2, and hopefully I can get this all in the frame. I think I have decided that I'm going to put the wood all the way across in the middle. So this is a great way to use up your 6x6 paper pack. We want to make sure that paper was 2 colors. I want to make sure it's all the same. I love the apple blossoms, and I just think that apple trees in bloom, I wish they could stay that way all year, were beautiful. I pulled out the pink from the apple blossoms and matted the pictures, but they're matted on white and pink. Let me see where I want to place these photos. I think I want to move them over because I don't want them on top of the other photos, and I want to pull out my papers and see what I like to use here. I use this homegrown paper pack to pull out the 6x6 sheets, which I then cut in 2-inch strips. So you get 3 strips by cutting those. I thought all these papers worked well with the layout. It's just choosing what I want. And I wanted to pull the matte color out and put each piece on each side to kind of balance out and pull out that color so it didn't look strange. I don't want them too close together, so I'm going to pull that out, and they mirror each other now, which is perfectly fine with me. I just love the springtime. I am going to pull that over and just kind of concentrate on this page, and then that'll help me determine the first page of what I want with these banners. So I'll pull 1 banner out each to see what I like and what pops out to me. And what pops out to me is these clouds. They just do not go. I think they kind of take away from the layout. The paper's white on the back. So I think I'm just going to pull those out. Those will not be used in this project, but they can be used for another project. So let me see what I want to do. I'm kind of thinking about making these banners and layering them on the page over here, just to pull some pattern paper in and bring a pop of color, but I don't want to take away from the pictures. I cut this apple blossom out of my Cricut and I think it's beautiful. I like the fact I can put it here right in the middle. I don't want too many embellishments on this page or even the other page. You can see at the top here, I'm not sure if you can see that, but where I had to pull the paper out, it has an edge on it, perforated edge. Here, I can't flip the paper around because we have that pattern going up and down. So I like this. I decided to create banners on this page, but I first looked to stagger them, but I thought it took away from the pictures. So I decided to cluster them, and I like the look of these banners. I think it really celebrates spring. So I'm going to set that to the side and get the first page layout. I've decided to use the same strips over here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I had cut out an apple in the beginning to go with this layout because we do have a crab apple and apple trees, but I'm not sure I'm going to use that because it's awful bright and blaring red and I have nothing else that's red. I am going to tuck these strips up underneath this page, but later on you'll see that I decide to cut the strip so I'm not using so much paper behind the wood, because I don't need it. I'm going to show you how I create these banners. It's very simple. I just cut down the middle and then I cut a triangle from each corner. And sometimes I get it cut the first time and then I have to go back other times like this to cut it. But there we go. Now, I want to make sure all the banners are the same size. So how do I go about doing this? Because I don't want to eyeball it. I just line this up really well. I tap the sides, I tap the top, and I get my pencil, and I'm just going to trace the banner. And I'm going to do this on all 3 pages of paper so that they will all be uniform in the look. So you'll have to tell me in the comments below, do you take pictures of plants or trees or document your surroundings, or am I the only one? Or do you put people in the pictures to document the surroundings? I would love to know. Sometimes I just like to document the surroundings, and I don't see many people do that. So I just wanted to know what your thoughts were about that. So please let me know. All right, as I continue to do this for cutting, I just think it's going to be really pretty to have those 3 different colors on the same layout. I like the mirrored look that it gives, and I like how the pattern paper just pulls from those pictures and complements them. Yeah, I'm going to tuck these up under. I don't want the trees too close to each other, so I think I'm just going to go in order that they are for the banner down there. And I like that look. I think that looks pretty. I think I am going to cut these down though. So I'm just going to put these in my Tim Holtz trimmer and quickly cut them off and tuck them under. And we'll just see how that works. Yes, I love the look of that. And so that'll be less bulk and paper in my album. And I'll continue to go through that. I just want to look at this apple one more time. And no, I don't think I want that, but I do want a title up at the top. So I want to put a title up here in this blank space on top of this page. I decided to use my Cricut to cut out my title. Sometimes I do use thickers. I have a lot of those in my stash, but I often find that I've already used the letters that I need, and that is very frustrating. I don't know if you face that challenge. So it's easier to cut this out on the Cricut. Or it's easier if I have a die set that is for alphabets, and I can cut those out real quick in my die machine. I'm going to use honeybee glue to glue this down. I'm going to move this other one over to the side. One of the tips I have is to use a T ruler. I love this T ruler. It is wonderful. I'll link that below. But it is great because it helps me line up my pictures. It helps me line up the letters. And to be honest, I don't always do everything straight. And it drives people crazy that it's not perfectly straight. But it's the best that I can do. And what I also suggest is pressing down on the T ruler so it can really bump those letters up next to the page. This way I definitely know that if they're bumped up against that ruler on the page, that they'll come out straight. I decided to use the dark green color because it looks best with both the left and the right side pages. They both have green in the pictures and green in the pattern paper. I used the darker color green. I had tried it with a lighter color green off camera and I didn't like it. It didn't pop as much. I didn't want to use the pink from Stampin' Up! Paper because the pink color would have been drowned out, I thought, and it would be too much because I've used that slight pink in the corners of each page. So I just want it to really pop out the title with the letters. And I'm going to line these up also. I hope that these pages have given you some inspiration and that you'll think about taking pictures of things around you. I know that my house is actually built in an old cow pasture, but I would have loved to see what things were like a long time ago. When I travel back to the city where I'm from, I always notice they have changed something or something new has been built, and it's very quick. And I'm like, oh, I wish I'd have taken a picture of that area before it happened. I don't know if you experience that. When you live somewhere and they change things, you don't notice it as much as when you go back and there's just a big change. I guess you can just never go home, is what I've determined. But I hope this has given you some inspiration to use your 6x6 paper pads. It's given you inspiration to try different things and document about your surroundings. I appreciate you watching this video. If you can, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.